Coming up with Chase Sexton here, brought to you by the folks at Scotia. Pulpamex 2021 is the code to save with Scotia.com. Punch in that code and get yourself some sweet Scotia stuff and save. Let's get to our next guest here. He's a factory Honda rider. Chase Sexton, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it. Hey, so I'll talk about the Atlanta 1 in a second here, but Atlanta 3, in this, we had to talk about this the other day on our show. Like, I think we're so used to Chase, like Ricky, James, Jeremy, Chad, Dunge, Villapoto, like they could roll around the first turn in last and get on the box, right? We just saw that so many times. They were so good. And I think when you look at Kenny's 9th, you look at Tomac's 6th in Atlanta, and you look at your mistake in Atlanta 3, like you just can't rip through the pack anymore. I hate saying it because I don't want to be the guy that's just recency bias. But dude, the field is so deep and so fast, like you literally can't make a mistake. You'll end up 9th like Kenny, 6th like Tomac, or like your race at Atlanta 3.
I mean, yeah, I would say, obviously it's super stacked, but for me, I was riding horrible. Like, I couldn't get to the whoops. I had a lot of sketchy moments, and it was okay. Kind of embarrassing, honestly, going through the whoops. I was like, man, I'm either going to crash or I should start jumping because it was bad. I was seeing my side number plates a few times, and I went off the track. Had to go backwards, but I think...
Oh, I saw the off the track. I saw that one. Yep.
Yeah, if you put a quality ride in, and say if I would have rode like I did at the first 2 Atlantas, I think maybe not to the podium, but top 5 is definitely not out of the picture if you get a bad start. I think he can still do it. Cooper does it. Tomac does it. Kenny can do it. I just don't think he was comfortable that night. I think it's 100% still possible, and that's what it's gonna take to obviously win, because you're not gonna get a perfect start every single race. So to be able to get back to the top 5 is definitely key, because you can't, if you start 9th, you can't just get 9th. So for me, I rode horrible. So that was kind of my scenario, but I still think it's definitely possible. Obviously, like I said, the class is super stacked, and probably, I could be biased too, but I feel like it's definitely more stacked than it's been in a long time. But it is my first year in the 450 class, so it could be that too.
Right, 702-586-PULP. You got a question for Chase Sexton? Give us a call. Brought to you by Scotia. I don't feel like you're bad in the whoops. What was it about these sections, or what about these set of whoops that was causing it? Like, was it a setup? Did you go the wrong way? Were you too slow in them, too fast entering them? Like, what'd you pinpoint?
I haven't really pinpointed it yet. I mean, I definitely wasn't comfortable with my setup. I really feel like when the track's really tacky, with just a 450, I don't know if it's a 450 or just a newer chassis this year, I feel super comfortable when the track's tacky. And then when it starts to go away and we start to lose that traction, I feel like or in the past, I feel like I haven't had the best traction and the best feel with my bike. So, and for me, I'm huge off feel. I think obviously every rider is, but when I'm comfortable, I'm a totally different rider. So when I went out there for the side lap, I went to the whoops, clicked in the 4th. I'm like, all right, here we go on the side lap. And I got a little sideways. I'm like, oh, it wasn't that great. And then I came into the start line, and I'm like, this is either going to go really good or really bad. So I'm gonna give it the best shot I got, but obviously it didn't go great. But I've been struggling a little bit with trying to find a setup for the main event, because for us, I mean, the track is completely different than 250 class. It's night and day. I'm kind of blown away with how gnarly it gets, especially if they don't get enough track work into it. Not that it's their fault or anything. It's hard to ride, and I'm just trying to adapt and trying to find a setup that works when it gets slick like that.
Yeah, I think, Paul, us watchers or the people who watch the races, they see qualifying and they're like, oh, this guy, like, Chase was a second faster at one of the races, and you're like, oh, he's dialed. But the fast lap in the last practice of the day and the lap or 15-minute mark of the main event 450s couldn't be any more different.
I mean, Chase, he won the heat too, right? And I think the toughest part is guessing or knowing what the track's going to be like and how to change your bike to set up for that, and that only comes with experience. But I mean, I still think Chase has made you made really good progress. I think you've learned how long the race is already. And, I think the hardest part is how those guys transition their lines at the end of the race. And I think, Chase, you've done a pretty good job at it. And I thought you were going to be there in the main event too. So
yeah,
I'm just going to tell you to go slow on the parade lap next time so you don't get a bad feeling.
So you think everything's going great. Yeah, don't go so fast on the parade lap.
I mean, I came into him first lap I kind of tried to erase my memory. Came into him pretty fast, and then came into him fast behind Malcolm. That's when I went all sideways. So I'm like, it's definitely not the entrance speed. It's more of a It's more of just the hitting the wrong line or bike or whatever it is. Right. But no, it's finding that line 10 minutes through. I've given a lot of credit to Eli and Cooper and obviously Ken, because those guys they're leading the championship, and that's what they're the best at. So that's kind of what I've been trying to learn throughout this year.
I learned that Cooper's real first name is Paul. Did you know that, Chase?
Yeah, I've been seeing your tweets. I was kind of confused on what that meant.
His name's Paul Webb.
Oh, actually. You're being dead serious.
I'm being dead serious. That's his real first name.
I did not know that. I thought you were joking.
No, I'm not. I heard this right before the main event. I couldn't even focus on the main event for the first half of the race. Wygant said that he heard about it too, and he went and he looked at Coop's amateur entries at MX Sports from back in the day, and they're Paul Cooper Webb.
Someone sent me his voter registration.
Really?
Yeah, Paul Webb from
Paul
Claremont,
Cooper
Florida.
Webb, and we got Michael Adams Cirillo. Like
I knew Adam's name was Michael. Right. I didn't know, but yeah, your tweets, they get me, because I was actually thinking on the side before the side lap, because we all had jackets on.
Yeah.
And your favorite thing is to say
jackets.
Jackets. No jackets on the side lap. So I was thinking about putting mine on.
Oh, dude, you should have. The problem is Alpine Stars is really screwing with me, because they're making jackets that look just like jerseys. I had my vest on. So right.
That would have been. It wouldn't really been a jacket, but
no.
Yeah.
And trust me, I got the binoculars. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I don't know what that is. What is it? And then I'm finding out that Cooper Webb's real name is Paul. I'm all fucked up there. So yeah, it's tough. Hey, what do you think of the Speedway style of track? We just had Dino on before you, and he loved it. He thought it was great. Dude, I gotta admit, maybe God, it's been bugging the shit out of me this year that we got 42-second lap times. You guys are jumping everything on the second lap of the very first practice. Like, I'm just kind of sitting there going, fuck, I want to see more. And so, it's easy from the press box, don't get me wrong. But I love the fact that we saw the different stuff. Paul made a mention that it was great to be in fourth gear. What's your thoughts?
I couldn't agree more. I don't know what it is about this year. I can't believe that we're going that much faster. The tracks are just so short. I almost feel like for me, I think they need more dirt or something to build everything up and get it to more, I guess, how it used to be. I was watching, obviously I work with James, and we watch a lot of old videos, and the tracks look like were just built a whole lot different, obviously. And they looked like they had more dirt in general. So I don't know if that's the problem, but honestly, I'm not over, but like doing 30 laps in a main event. Like I do 25 laps in the practice track, and I feel like I'm overachieving, like 2 25 lappers, and that should be plenty. But at the end of the day, you really need to be doing 30 laps, which is a lot of laps on a practice track. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what it is. I just feel like it's more like even Dallas, some of the tracks were getting almost like stadium, like kind of like a little bit built down and just not, they were still hard to ride, don't get me wrong, but it's a different kind of hard to ride. It's more like you're searching for milliseconds at corners, and that's when it gets a little bit gnarlier too, and the track gets broken down. Obviously, you're going to get separation. So, I don't know what it's been. I mean, they've been trying to make them longer, and I can see that. And it was just nice to race a track that was long and definitely had some room to make passes and kind of get away as well. So it was definitely a breath of fresh air.
I had my guy Clinton pull some stats for me. I put this in my column earlier this year. So up until this year and last year, we had sub 50-second lap times. We had only had like 2 or 3 sub 50-second lap times tracks until 2019 and 20. What are we?
We're in 20 right now.
We're in 20 right now.
Yes.
Till 2019 and 2020.
No, we're in 21.
We're in 21. God, dude, right? Fuck,
holy
I know,
shit.
I know, right? So 2020 and 2021, we had, I think, 7 and 9 tracks that were sub 50 seconds. And before that, in the previous 8 years, we had 2 a year average. So something's going on the last 2 years for sub 50-second lap times. I have a theory that it's lack of dirt. When you talk to the folks, when you talk to the folks that build tracks, they'll tell you the biggest expense is dirt. They hauling it and digging it and all of that.
Which means they're not buying a bunch of extra.
They're not
they're trying to buy the bare minimum.
Right. I believe they're not buying as much dirt. And I'm with you, Chase. The jumps were bigger. We had more. I mean, think how many times we've seen like small little rollers, and you're like, well, that was supposed to be something, and now they either ran out of dirt or whatever. I'm with you, Chase. 42-second lap times on a stadium floor that 3 years ago was a 54-second lap time. Unacceptable. Yeah. So I don't know. To me, I'm with you. So I like the Speedway. I thought it was great.
Yeah, and I feel like for not having enough dirt at the other races, I feel like we had plenty of dirt at Atlanta. So
right,
and that covered a lot more ground.
But
so
hold on, they got free dirt at Atlanta. They took it. They took it from the Speedway place out there. So.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Yep.
Everything, I feel like everything was built like how it should be. Like the rhythm sections were built bigger.
Yep.
And more technical, and obviously the loops they made that were probably the biggest set of loops I've ever seen in a Supercross race. They weren't. I wouldn't say they were sketchy. I would say obviously you had to be on your toes, and I wasn't comfortable in them, but it doesn't mean they were wrong. So I like the tracks. I think the last one. I mean, I might be saying I didn't do good. It was probably my least favorite, but. My first favorite was probably the first one, I would say. Even the second one was really good, but overall, I feel like they did a pretty good job with the layout and just building the jumps in general. So, yeah, there was some big crashes, but I don't really think it was because of the track. I would just say that it was just, I think it was definitely put you on your toes more.
I worked for, Red Dog for sure. He would have, if on that track, Atlanta won. If Red Dog only got 1 7-minute practice in, he would have been fucking losing his mind, Paul. Like he would have been,
to jump stuff.
Dude. He would have been. Yeah, he wouldn't. First of all, he didn't jump stuff till the night show, for the most part. So you know what I mean? So how were you, Chase, with only 1 practice and going into the track like that?
I really liked it. I tend to learn tracks really really fast, and the free practices I'm usually pretty good in just because I learn it. Like I pick it up pretty fast, but. There were still some jumps out there that I really wanted to like uncork. There was a quad I wanted to do at the second one that I didn't do, and I feel like that might have been because of just my crashes this year and being dumb. But I think the tracks in general, learning them is not really my problem. I actually liked it. Was not nice that we didn't ride that much, but it gave it a little bit more of excitement and made it just harder to learn the track. So and it was muddy, so that was a little bit more difficult, but. For me, I didn't mind not having that much practice.
Right. Yeah, I definitely, Paul, I don't know about you, but I would have had riders that were losing their minds about that.
I mean, I don't know me personally, but I like what Chase said, and I agree. Like it was something different, and it finally, it seems like they always get plenty of practice, and kudos to the guy who can learn it faster.
By the way, Paul, you're working for Renthal. What's happening with the bar with Chase's tooth mark in it?
Oh, I got it at my house, but I think we're gonna.
Are we putting on display?
Yeah, we want to do something with it for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is a legit tooth mark. It's pretty gnarly.
So gnarly, Chase. God, dude.
Oh my! Yeah, that wall jump. If I could have got that down, that was a second.
That was sick. Sure. It was sick that you tried it.
But it was either 10 feet longer or 10 feet shorter. I would have been completely fine.
Yes.
But I had to land right in the middle. I didn't want to come up short. That's definitely. I did not want to come up short, and I didn't come short. I did. Well, actually, technically I did. But
you went long.
Yeah, you went long.
Yeah.
I feel like it looked like you weren't really on. Like I feel like you could have done it. I just a little bit more. Like
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Right. Like I feel like you were going even like slower than I would have thought. That I'm like, oh, he's Anyways.
So here's a question, Chase.
Right.
If you grease it the first time, do you consider going onto the tabletop?
It's tough to say. I mean, it's. When I did it, I'm like, man, if I just step a little bit faster in the heat, going into the heat race, I'm like, or even the main event, I was like, man, if I got to pull a move out, I might just jump onto this thing. And I never ended up doing it. I was being a baby about it, but it was deceiving because it really wasn't. The face was pretty tamed down. It was almost like a triple face, and I never double triples ever. That's one thing I never do. I either go roll, or triple, no in between. So that was probably my problem because that was like it was a little bit bigger than a double of a triple, but I completely misjudged it, and I came back and I was pretty bummed because I had to get 15 stitches and lost one of my teeth. So it was a bummer, but yeah, it was gnarly.
Put that thing on like a traveling display, like hey, like
we need to do something cool. Yeah. Maybe we'll frame it, and I don't know if you want it, Chase.
It was funny because they were Asterix was digging through because I had a hole straight through from my teeth
through your lip.
You can see straight to my teeth from the outside. So they were digging through there, making sure it was like all cleaned out, and they're like, "What is this?" And it was a piece of the bar in my mouth, or in my lip, like wedged in there. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!"
Oh my god!
And then it was not pretty. The one I will say, the one that hurt way worse though was the one in Dallas. That one, by far, was probably the most. I mean, obviously breaking bones and stuff is painful, but that face, like that, like it almost like makes you depressed because everything you do, you are hurting, no matter what, eating, sleeping, drinking, everything hurts. Yeah. And it was miserable.
Yeah, you look like I'm dating myself, but like the Ivan Drago just beat the shit out of you. Yeah, but
it was bad.
I don't even want to ask you, but I gotta ask you because we just gotta ask. How's Stu?
Yeah, I mean, Stu's good.
Are you tired of talking about Stu? Are you tired of talking about Stu to people?
No, I mean, Stu and I get along good. Like, we have a good relationship, and he's chill. So no, I don't ever get bothered by it. I know you guys love him. I know you did the whole Finding Stu thing. So you're definitely a big fan.
Do you beat him when you play golf?
It's close. I think his potential. I don't know.
Because you're a pretty good golfer, from what I hear.
Yeah, you actually, like, short story. I holed out for Eagle the Thursday before the last race in Atlanta. I thought,
nice.
Oh my God, I'm gonna win this weekend now.
yeah, that's awesome.
And then we're going out there and doing terrible. But no, I mean he's probably. I mean, he's shot better scores than I have, and he was really good at one point. But now he's kind of going through a little lull. So we're pretty close. We struggle together.
Jordan Bailey told me that sometimes he'll golf with him a couple years ago or whatever, and if he's having a bad game, he's gone on like the 6th hole. Gone.
That's what I do.
Oh, yeah.
He's just gone. Yeah.
I tried pawning my clubs after 9 holes one time.
Jordan will be like, you turn around, he's gone. Yep.
He'll just disappear, and he'll like bounce around on holes because he lives on this course that we play on. And it's like when I say this is a nice course, this is the nicest course in probably Florida, like private course wise. And it was. And he just bounces around. He'll be that. He goes wherever. He does not care.
He'll
just be gone.
He'll
just be gone.
It's so funny. Like his legacy. Like it's just like you watch that Daytona thing and you're like, what would Stu do this weekend? I forget. Atlanta 3. We're up in the press box with Brayton and JT, myself, and Wygant. And then Brayton is like, I don't even remember maybe it was Atlanta 2. I don't remember which one. Brayton was like, hey, you guys think Stu does that? Like, whatever we were looking at. You know, it's just like that's where we're at with him. It's just like a legacy of like, would Stu do that, or what? You know what I mean? And we break it down, and we like break it down. I'm like, I think he would. Or, you know what I mean?
He definitely wasn't afraid. And like I said, like there's multiple times out there where like, and I like to jump. Like obviously, I like to do big jumps and stuff like that. And the Daytona one honestly might have like not scared me a little bit, but it kind of made me settle down. And there were some quads at Atlanta that. Were definitely doable that I didn't do. Like there was one, I was probably halfway through the main event, and I was seriously like so close to. There was that after the pit board, you were going like wheel tap and then triple single. 100% you could have quadded that, no problem.
Yeah.
There was this problem making the corner,
right?
And I was just so close to doing it, but probably better I don't. It wasn't necessary. I was losing the race in that other part of the track, so. No, there's some jumps out there. A 450 can pretty much jump anything. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially now, like, you know, his bikes were carbureted. A lot of them were, you know what I mean? Like, yours they're better now than they were when he raced.
But to me, the coolest...
Yeah, 100%.
I don't want to take Chase's interview into a Stu.
No, go ahead. No, we're fine.
But
go ahead.
The coolest part to me about it was he would save it. And he'd get it out in the main event and just blow people's wigs back.
How about he wouldn't ride the last practice?
Yeah, he would ride such a strong move.
He would ride 2 practices and call it a day.
I know. That's a move. I like it. That's playing the mental game. Right? That's everything. Like, yeah, good. Dude, I don't need any more practice.
I'm good.
It's a move.
I got this, everybody. You're just like, wow.
Yeah. No, it was a power move. If you did that nowadays, I mean, people would be
right.
I don't think they would know what to do because no one's done it. I mean, honestly, you could do it. I feel like we get
you get plenty of practice. Do it next weekend, Chase.
at this point, I don't even care about qualifying. Like, qualifying first is great, but I actually really like being first heat. So, like, second, I'm actually not mad at. Like, Anderson passed me last lap this weekend, or would pass me for the pole. And honestly, I'm pretty bummed about it. But for the 250, it's nice. Your second heat, which is better. But 450, I like being first heat. So I wasn't really bummed out about it. And if you're not worried about qualifying, because it really doesn't matter at the end of the day.
No,
like,
it
I
doesn't.
learned that
No.
the hard way, plenty of times. So, you don't even need to do the last practice. The only way you do it is if you're doing bike setup stuff or trying to find like a setting. But he was telling me, he's like, man, I learned the track the first practice, and like he would just tell me, he's like, I knew no one beat my time. I think he said he's like a second faster than anybody. He only did one lap in practice fast. So he's like, I just saved it for the races because
don't show your hand too much.
There was a quad I did in Arlington. No, not Arlington. Houston, the second one, the one I crashed at, the one out of the section that I did first, and I as soon as I did it, I said that was stupid because I should have saved it for the race.
Oh
and everyone ended up doing it. So no, he was gnarly. That's some balls to pull it in the race because if you crash, obviously that's going to cost you some time or possibly injured. He definitely was very talented on a dirt bike.
Yes,
and I appreciate the gamesmanship of it, right? Like, because he's playing every card and I grew up in Florida, and I'm very similar in age to James, so we were always at the same races a lot of times, and he would always win, right? Every single time he wins. But sometimes it would go bad, and he would oftentimes leave. Like, he wouldn't race the second moto because in Cycle News, they only print the top 5 results. So if he's not, he wanted to be first or he didn't want to be there. So people just assume, he just didn't go to that race.
Right.
Like, that was his move.
Funny.
Yeah.
It's like his golf game. It's the same thing he does
same thing,
you're not going to beat me if I'm not there.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's why I've always gotten mad. Not mad, but I've always ranted on this show. Like, you guys are out there flipping off privateer dudes and freaking out over somebody who gets in your way unintentionally on a fast lap. It's like, oh, dude, you're third gate pick instead of second for a heat race. Like, who cares? Like,
no, it does not matter at all.
The Cowie guys get money for fast qualifiers.
I don't know if they still do.
I think they do.
I know they did for a while.
Does. Did you see Adam on a qualifying? He likes to go for it. But I know for a fact he got it in 250. Like,
yes.
That was a known thing, but I don't know if he does it in 450 class. You'd ask him.
But other than that, just calm down. Just calm down on the hot laps.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, the heat race means a lot more because then you get to pick.
Yeah.
The game's been gnarly lately, so getting first gate pick is an advantage.
Yeah.
We got a question for you here from Chris. Chris, welcome to the show. What's your question for Honda's Chase Sexton, brought to you by Scosh.com?
Chase, it's Chris the lawyer in Minneapolis. I got a quick question for you. Since the wicked accident where you smashed your mouth, have you considered wearing a mouth guard?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely came to mind after, especially 2 of them. The first one, I just was like, it's not going to happen again. And then it did happen again in Dallas. And it definitely came to mind because, like I said, that hurt pretty bad. I'm still not wearing one. I haven't even put one on, but I do know people wear them for concussions too. Definitely something to look into. I thought about wearing they don't have those. It's a very small one just for your teeth and stuff like that. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it too much yet because I like to have the least amount of restriction as possible. I don't like having stuff in my mouth. But I'm definitely going to look into it because I cannot afford to hit my face one more time and just destroy my lip. So, no, that's a good question. I definitely thought about it.
Thanks, Chris.
Cool. Bye.
Thanks, man. Also, too, you were wearing an Atlas neck brace for years. Of course, you switched to Alpine Stars, but you're not wearing their neck brace. Is it something with braces? We saw Marvin take his off. We've seen guys put them on. Like, was there a movement thing? Did you, like Brayton, one time Brayton tried one and thought that he was faster without one because he could move his head a bit?
Can't see the face of the triple with one on.
What'd you come up with that, Chase, for your decision?
Yeah, it's been coming, I've been thinking about it for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
You don't wear them in photo shoots before the season starts, and I always feel so good on the bike, and I don't know, it's something. It might be mental, but for me, getting in the whoops and stuff like that. So with the neck brace on, I was noticing where I was almost like not shrugging my shoulders, but my neck was. I had to like not extend my neck super far, but to get my neck in the right position, it was kind of putting strain, and I could just get into a position so much easier. I felt like without the neck brace, it was just not that I couldn't do it with before. I just felt like it was easier to do it without one. So that was kind of my decision. And then I feel like my Houston crash, like I was pretty nervous just because it hit the ground like in the wrong position without a neck brace on. That was my first crash without one. That was big. So, I'm still on the fence about it. Like I do like what they do, and I've worn one for a long time, and Atlas is super good to me. So, yeah, I think they can do good and bad, but it's just kind of preference for me. And I was honestly like mind blown that Marvin took it off. Like,
yeah, me too.
He took it off after practice and just races it. I'm like, that's pretty gutsy. But yeah, I don't know. It's just something with like range of motion, especially in the loops, and you just feel freer without one. That's kind of how I felt now.
Right. Also, I gotta say, like our buddy Cade Clayson, we've had on the show the week after Atlanta won, and he talked about holding you up a little bit, and there's certainly a big debate among all of us. I thought you handled it pretty well. I thought you'd be fucking irate, Chase. You weren't really, though, I guess. I mean, obviously, look, it sucks. It bummed you out. Yeah. Eli got you there, but dude, I think you handled it pretty good. I don't know if I would be that cool at that. What Cade got in the way.
Yeah, I mean, I was bummed out, obviously, and I expected him to move. It wasn't even so much the corner; it was after the corner, that double. He kind of kept going right, and I was expecting him to go left, so I didn't really adjust for it, and then that's when I missed the double.
Right.
But for me, I think I've said this, I think in the press conference, I thought it was last lap. My mechanic put on the pit board 2 laps ago, and it was just because the team called it out. It wasn't Jade's fault. He was just a miscommunication. So for me, I thought it was last lap, and I lost the race. I mean, obviously he passed me there, but I lost the race when I didn't do that next double.
Right.
So that was on me, and I know Cade didn't mean to do it. It was a racing incident. Just stuff happens. So I can't go on the podium, and ultimately I'm just going to make myself look like a bigger idiot if I say something dumb. Obviously I was frustrated, and he didn't mean to do it. So and it wasn't meant to be. So we're still striving for that win, but it was going to be a good race. It was going to be a good last lap.
It was.
Hopefully I wouldn't have pulled off after the white flag, but I would have been more mad after that. Trust me.
You didn't jump the third double, so I was like, "What's up with that?" And that's why you were probably like wondering what's going on with the flag, right? You were totally Well,
I saw Eli keep going. I'm like, is he doing like a victory lap? Because he just beat me. But no, I didn't know it was last lap, and like I said, there was nothing that Cade could have done after that. He didn't he didn't do it on purpose. So,
right.
It's all good.
Right. Yeah, I just admire that you didn't just absolutely launch your bike at him and start screaming and yelling at him. So that's all. So
I've done that too many times, and it doesn't do any good. So
yeah, no, it doesn't change anything, right? You're absolutely right.
No, the race is over. So
right. Well, hey man, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. Really appreciate the time. We'll see you out here for Salt Lake City. Are you staying in between? Or are you going back to Cali in between?
I'll probably go back to California. I'm going to be out in California for like 5 weeks because outdoors and everything like that. So I'll go back to California and change it up a little bit. But yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be interesting going back there after it's been a year. So we were there for quite a while. So it's going to be kind of like a homecoming almost.
True. Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, it's got good memories for you too there, Salt Lake City. So
yeah. Yes, sir. Well, thank you.
Thanks for coming on, man. Thank you, Chase.
Yes. Thanks, guys.
All right. That's Chase Sexton, everybody. Good interview.
Yeah, for sure. Chase is cool.